My wife is deaf, and our secondary language at home is ASL, American Sign Language. And my youngest daughter really progressed well, which is fantastic in her spoken language skills, but pretty soon what began to suffer was her ASL, her sign language skills, her ability to communicate with her mother, which was incredibly important to us. So we spoke to Melinda about what we could do to potentially fix the problem. And Melinda came up with a brilliant idea. And she was able to get the school district to pay for a signing aide, which is a person who would follow my daughter around during all her school hours and would use sign language with her and incorporate that into the curriculum of the nursery school. It worked like gangbusters. Within a year, my daughter was signing just as well as she was speaking. And this is something we wouldn't even have thought to have done if Melinda hadn't brought it up.
Have you ever felt like you didn't have a voice? I have. When I was 12 years old, I was abused by a teacher, and that abuse caused me to have paralyzed vocal cords. Fast forward, and I'm a mother of a child with special needs. And after 10 years of watching her and other children with disabilities have their voices taken from them, and watching families not have a voice at the table, I decided that I needed to be that voice. And so I am.
When we found out our daughter had hearing loss, we didn't know where to turn. We met with Melinda, and she opened our eyes to all the different avenues that we would be able to utilize. We were really enlightened to learn that there were so many different ways we could steer our daughter.
28 years ago, I gave birth to a daughter who was profoundly deaf, and I knew immediately. I knew in the hospital. I said, she can't hear me, but nobody believed me. For 10 months, I researched and I begged and I told people she's not hearing me. But when I was alone with her, I was confident. I was banging pots and pans. I was vacuuming while she slept, slamming doors, but everyone said she was fine, and I knew she wasn't. At 10 months, I was finally able to get the doctor, the pediatrician, to give me the referral to the expert who I had found and identified. He didn't want to, but he did. And at 11 months, she was diagnosed with profound hearing loss. And thus began the journey of finding the appropriate services. In our town, we didn't have the appropriate services for her. So I would take her an hour and a half to get therapy. Then at 2.5, the FDA approved a device that would give people with hearing loss access to sound, access to speech. And so I investigated it. I said, let me find somebody who graduated from high school, who was born deaf and implanted at 3. And they said, there isn't anybody. It's gonna be your daughter and her friends. So I wrote her letters, told her about my decision. If it's wrong, I'm sorry, we can fix this. But we went ahead and got the surgery. And at 3.5, she was implanted. At 4, she heard water for the first time. And I continued to drive her an hour and a half away, 5 days a week to the right school. But I had to work. And so I enlisted the help of people, my mother, my mother's friends, my friends. I knew everybody who was helping me drive her, but she didn't know that. So one night, when she was around 5 years old, I was putting her to bed and she said, Mommy, whose car am I getting in tomorrow? And my stomach dropped. My heart broke. I thought, I'm teaching my child to get in the car with strangers. And I had to make a change. So I changed my work schedule. I changed my office so that I could take her to school every day. But that began the path that I knew I had to do something. I had to make a difference. No other family should have to be on the road that much. No other child should grow up in the backseat of a car. So I got my master's degree in special education and I started helping families.
It felt like you gave us options to decide what was best for our daughter, and knowing that the parent is the best advocate for their own children. It's not just a school board, a doctor, a friend. It's our decision with education.
Helping my daughter close the gap with her language and her education became my everything. It was about making sure she had every opportunity in the world possible. And she ended up graduating from high school in a general education class with typically hearing peers. She can talk on the phone. She's got a job. She's married. She's got a baby. She can talk to people who talk. She can sign to people who sign. And after trying many jobs and going on many interviews, she called me one day and she said, Mommy, I need to talk to you. So she came over and she got on the couch and she said, okay, so I think I need to work with you because every time I go on an interview, all I do is talk about what you do. So I was like, okay, hold on, let's figure this out. So she ended up going back to college for early childhood development And she is going to help kids with special needs. She's going to continue this mission in her own way.
We met Melinda at a school meeting for parents with children with hearing loss. And Melinda gave her own background of dealing with school districts, a number of them, because of her own daughter's hearing situation. And it seemed like, whoa, this woman knows exactly what we're going through. She's been through it, and she's there to offer assistance. We immediately wanted to work with her. So Melinda has been with us for almost 3 years now, and it's been an amazing journey that we've learned so much.
I have been able to serve families and walk them through this journey throughout the entire United States as well as internationally. I've spent the last 20 plus years being by the side of the mom and the dad and the grandma and the child as we navigate this path. If you have a need to help people, if you have a need to end systemic abuse, if you are kind and compassionate and positive, if you want to fight for people and not with people, join my team in helping advocate for children with special needs.